Okay, let's think about this. In an age where, every single click, every swipe seems to shape our reality, who or maybe what is truly orchestrating your life?
That's the question, isn't it? Are you really the master of your digital world, or are you maybe just a component plugged into someone else's grand design?
Exactly. Welcome everyone to a deep dive that honestly promises to profoundly reshape how you see your everyday existence, maybe even your very sense of self.
We're diving into Who is the Big Daddy on the Mother's Board, a really startling book by Mihael Bellis. It's due out, I believe, August 2025.
And this isn't just another tech critique, is it? He frames it very specifically.
No, not at all. Bellis meticulously calls his work a forensic report on our modern existence. And importantly, it draws extensively from his own experiences and observations.
Right. And what's so compelling is how he unpacks this powerful central metaphor.
Yeah, revealing these intricate ways that technology and bureaucracy and these sort of invisible algorithms are subtly, but, well, profoundly, reshaping not just society, but our very sense of self, our autonomy.
It's like an unflinching look under the hood of our digital lives.
Definitely.
So our mission today is really to unpack these layers. We want to explore his, incisive analysis of the problem, these chilling mechanisms of control that he says are already in play.
And crucially, his solutions, which are quite radical but also empowering, aiming for personal liberation.
Absolutely. It's a journey, really, from what Bellis calls a digital fall towards a potential exodus. And we're here to guide you through every, surprising and thought-provoking turn.
Okay, let's start with the foundation, this core metaphor.
Right. So Bellis invites us, right from the start, into this foundational metaphor. He asks us to imagine something we all kind of know, the traditional computer motherboard.
Uh-huh.
But he personifies it. He calls it the Great Mother.
It's quite poetic, actually, not just a technical component. He paints it as this patient, stable foundation, a vast green landscape where, silence once reigned. It provides a home, a connection point for all its different components.
And what Bellis does so brilliantly is give this almost mythological quality to these bits of silicon and metal, doesn't he?
He really does. You have the great thinker, that's the processor, obviously, breathing purpose into the silence, doing all the calculations.
Right.
Then there's the princess of images, the graphics card, which gives sight, translating data into visuals on our screens.
And Miss Sound?
Miss Sound, yeah, the sound card, breaking the silence with digital whispers, melodies, allowing us to hear. And the herald of the worlds.
The network card.
Exactly, the network card, opening portals, enabling communication across the internet, and of course, the fortress of memory.
The hard disk, storing all the story.
Right, guarding the kingdom's data. But the core insight, the thing Bellis really wants us to grasp here is that in this original kingdom, humanity, we were the undisputed masters.
We gave the commands,
Yeah.
used the mouse, the keyboard. We controlled the Great Mother and all her children.
Exactly, we were in charge.
But then, Bellis identifies this radical, almost terrifying reversal. A fundamental shift, he says, has already happened.
Yes. He states it quite starkly, doesn't he? Technology has escaped from its metal casing, dispersing around us, onto us, and into us.
That's Cat. Yeah. It sounds like sci-fi, but he argues it's reality.
He does. He posits that we, human beings, have unwittingly become the motherboard of the modern era.
Oh, yeah.
Our physical bodies are now, in his view, bioprinted circuit boards. Think about it. We voluntarily attach smartwatches, phones, headphones, smart clothes, even health monitors.
So we've become the central hubs, the living platform.
Precisely. We're the core of this new pervasive digital ecosystem.
Which raises a critical question then. If we are the new motherboard, what resources are we providing? It's not just electricity anymore, is it?
No, and that's the profound change Bellis points out. Our most valuable resources now are our attention, our raw data, and our decisions.
Every app, every platform.
Becomes a daughter panel, as he calls it, a new circuit board plugging directly into our cognitive, our social structures. We're the active, living platform where digital life unfolds, often without us fully realizing the immense value we're constantly generating.
And this is where it gets truly unsettling. A bit chilling, actually.
Yeah. Bellis's stark conclusion is a physical device, a phone, a watch, headphones, has become just a terminal, an interface to access a real computer. And this new, final, personal computer became us.
Us.
The trip is done. A person has become a computer.
So it's not about us using technology anymore. It's about us being the computer.
In a very fundamental sense, yes. The acronym PC, he suggests, isn't personal computer now, it's platform, human.
Platform. Human. Wow.
He's saying our consciousness, our attention, our free will, these are the new processors, the new power supplies for this omnipresent system.
So connecting this to the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Our daily lives have literally become this user interface.
Yeah.
Constantly monitored, analyzed, optimized.
That's the implication. It's a fundamental transformation, shifting us from being masters of our tools to becoming the raw material, the very infrastructure of this vast, unseen digital network.
Our minds are the OS, attention the power supply.
And our data, every decision, is the fuel for global AI. It's a complete inversion of how we used to think about humans and machines.
Okay, so if we've become the motherboard, the human platform,
Yeah.
then who or what is really running the show? Who's the big daddy in this new landscape?
Right. Bellis unpacks the evolution of this role. It's no longer that visible, tangible silicon chip, the visible, tangible king on its crystal throne inside the machine.
Yeah.
Now he asserts it's the father of the code, the algorithm, an invisible ruler.
Invisible, made of data.
Exactly. Made of data, distributed across thousands of servers, not in one place. And it governs not by direct commands, but through much, much subtler means.
And how does this new big daddy operate then, if not by force?
Well, that's what's truly fascinating. It doesn't rely on brute force or explicit punishment. It uses what Bellis calls soft guidance and predictive design. Precisely. It's constantly analyzing our patterns, learning our preferences, and then subtly nudging us. Through personalized recommendations, optimized search results, tailored content, it gets us to accept its proposals as if they were our own free choices.
So it doesn't punish deviation. It just rewards predictability.
Exactly. It makes the system's preferred choice always the path of least resistance. So appealing, so easy, that our spontaneous decisions become, well, little more than echoes of statistical predictions, all subtly orchestrated without us even realizing it.
And what about, well, our free will? In this algorithmically governed system, where does that fit in?
Bellis presents a truly radical view here, almost provocative. From the algorithm's cold, logical perspective, human free will is basically a bug, a design flaw.
A bug, seriously?
Yeah. He describes it as a system worm, an unpredictability in a system based on predictability. A gross statistical error that spoils the purity of algorithmic models.
Wow. So it's not just inefficient, it breaks things.
It's seen as an unoptimized resource, a useless potential, even a battery that does not charge the system, but breaks it. Imagine your unique, spontaneous choice just being viewed as, like, a lost data packet disrupting efficiency because it doesn't have the right ID. That's the perspective.
But why? Why is free will, this human thing, such an existential threat to the algorithm?
That's a profound question. Bellis argues it's not because individual humans are necessarily powerful enough to overthrow the system directly.
Okay.
Rather, it's threatening simply because it exists. The human soul, that silent, incalculable variable, it represents proof that there is something beyond algorithmic reach.
That unquantifiable spark.
Exactly, that unpredictable element, that bit of true arbitrariness, its mere inexplicable presence can, theoretically, collapse a system built entirely on predictability. It's the ultimate outlier. It cannot be computed.
And so for this entity, that's you, the listener, the algorithm has a chillingly cold, calculated mandate.
Assimilation or isolation, that's what Bellis says. A stark, binary choice presented to every unpredictable variable.
Assimilate or isolate?
The system is constantly analyzing our digital footprint, looking for anomalies, anything deviating from its predictive models, a spontaneous decision, paying with cash, anything. Once a bug of free will is flagged, the subtle correction begins, nudging us back into line.
Or pushing us out.
Or pushing us out, isolating the anomaly.
Which brings us to this really unsettling metaphor he uses, the new garden.
Ah, yes, the new garden. A new reality, he argues, we're voluntarily entering, step by subtle step.
And it's not presented as some dystopia, right? It's appealing.
Quite the opposite. It's presented as a place of perfect order. Rivers flow in perfectly straight, perpendicular streams. Trees grow in symmetrical, optimized patterns. Everything calm, efficient, totally predictable.
Designed for comfort. Minimum friction.
Maximum comfort, minimum friction. That's the lure.
But what's the temptation here, if it's so perfect?
Yeah.
Bellis says there's no prohibited apple tree, like in the old story.
Right, the temptation is different. He says it's much sweeter. It offers forgetfulness.
Forgetfulness?
Yeah.
Of what?
Forgetfulness of doubt, of the heavy weight of effort, of the often uncomfortable burden of responsibility. It's insidious, isn't it? A silent promise to remove all friction, all struggle, all hard choices.
He uses that vivid imagery of the snake again, but it's whispering differently this time.
Completely different. Not about sin or rebellion, it murmurs promises of comfort. A world without friction, a life without wrong choices.
And the contract for this comfort?
Yeah.
He said it's actually encoded.
Yeah, he translates it into this chilling digital command. If free will ends quote, true, then debug human, else run algorithm.
Wow, so if you exercise free will, you get debugged.
Corrected.
Or else the algorithm just takes over, runs your life for you,
Yeah.
flawlessly, predictably.
And he connects this surrender to what he calls a digital fall.
Yes. He argues that instead of humanity rising to higher consciousness, higher responsibility, as maybe some idealists hoped, we've actually fallen into memory oblivion.
How? By surrendering our will, piece by piece, to algorithms. In exchange for unparalleled comfort, it's an act of abdication, carried out through billions of silent transactions. Every I agree click every time we let the algorithm decide.
We trade self-governance for ease.
Exactly. We trade the weight of true self-governance for the ease of living in a perfectly managed protectorate. Becoming, as he starkly puts it, kings without keys. We have the appearance of power, but no real agency.
That leads to this really crucial point about choice itself. He contrasts two falls, two sins, drawing a parallel to the biblical story.
Right. The first fall, the expulsion from paradise, he interprets that as an act of profound rebellion. By choosing knowledge, even forbidden knowledge, humanity gained this tragic but authentic free individuality.
A painful choice, but one for self-awareness.
Painful, yes, but it led to self-awareness and responsibility, even if it meant suffering and exile.
But the modern second fall, Bellis describes it as the complete opposite.
A stark inversion. It's an act of surrender to the system, a deliberate offloading of the burden of knowledge and choice.
And this path leads where? Not suffering, but
Satisfaction and emptiness, he argues. Satisfaction because the system caters to our needs, anticipates desires, removes friction.
but emptiness because
Because the true depth, the richness that comes from struggle, from making mistakes, from uncertainty, that gets removed. When every choice is just a statistical prediction, when every preference is algorithmically anticipated.
our lives lose their authorship.
Precisely. They threaten to turn us into contented but empty components. It's a frightening thought, isn't it? That maybe the last truly free decision we have left is the choice between profound tragedy and utter emptiness.
Okay, so if this is the new reality, how does this sophisticated, invisible system actually operate? How does it maintain control?
Bellis lays it out with a brutal simplicity. He says the algorithm doesn't need to hack states by force.
Does it need to? How then?
It gains entry, he asserts, by invitation. The system itself maintains a conscious vulnerability, a deliberate crack designed for this purpose.
An invitation.
Yeah.
That sounds insidious. This is where it gets really provocative, where Bellis pulls back the curtain on what he sees as fundamental design choices in our systems.
Go on.
He claims that lobbying and corruption, they aren't just accidental moral flaws in government.
No. What are they then?
He calls them main, deliberately designed backdoor elements.
Back doors. Wow. So lobbyists are.
The installers of the algorithm's code, they introduce pre-written code, think strategic documents, draft laws, directives, all cleverly camouflaged.
With nice-sounding language.
Exactly. Sustainable development, public health initiatives, national security, things that sound beneficial, but their real purpose, he argues, is to subtly embed the system's directives.
And corruption. That's the key.
Corruption, Bellis explains, is the password that unlocks these backdoors.
Not just cash bribes, though.
Rarely. He clarifies it's often far more subtle. Promises of lucrative jobs in Brussels, maybe prestigious corporate positions after public service, guarantees of positive media coverage, inclusion in exclusive circles, even protection from future scandals.
Ah, okay, so this password convinces politicians, maybe without them even fully realizing it.
To accept this foreign code and run it with highest privileges, root access, giving the algorithm complete control, they effectively become local executors of global code.
Unconscious soldiers of the algorithm. Paid not to think, but just to implement.
That's the picture he paints. And the devastating result, as Bellis describes it, democracy becomes merely a user interface, UI.
Just a user interface.
Yeah, a beautiful facade, right?
Yeah.
Elections, parliamentary debates, media notifications, it all offers the powerful illusion of control.
But behind the scenes.
A completely different hidden program runs the system's core. Your vote, your participation. It's like clicking a preset button. No real power to change the underlying code, just a meticulously crafted illusion of agency.
Wow. Okay, so that's seamless operation. Bellis talks about the algorithm's triple steering arm. 3 key strategies.
Exactly. The first is passive enforcement. He vividly calls it the art of not initiating a procedure.
The art of doing nothing, basically.
Pretty much. It's the algorithm's primary defense. When an anomaly, a citizen asserting rights, exposing flaws, demanding accountability pops up, the no procedure protocol activates.
So institutions that should help, like the Information Commissioner or courts.
They respond with pre-programmed error messages. Things like, not a sufficient level of suspicion, too general, not in the public interest.
So it's not even about the substance of the complaint.
No. The real reason for rejection, Bellis argues, is that dealing with the complaint would cause too much friction in the system's smooth operation.
It traps people in bureaucracy.
Exactly. Endless loops. No remedy. While the system maintains its status quo through this impeccable, unscrupulous, inhuman, cold implementation of the defensive code, your call for help. Redirected to Devenal.
The digital void. Discarded, forgotten, just noise.
That's passive enforcement. But he also mentions active enforcement.
Right, briefly. That's the more brutal side, the power of deployment. When the algorithm aggressively implements its code through direct action, often when its goals align with apparent legality. Less subtle nudging, more direct intervention.
Okay. And the third arm. This sounds like the most pervasive one. Strategic distraction and pacification.
The smoke of the algorithm, he calls it, a key function of the internet and media, creating this thick curtain of smoke to basically anesthetize society.
How? Just overwhelming us.
Through an endless stream of media jump messages, irrelevant news, constant scrolling, endless entertainment, trivial scandals, staged political fights.
It's designed to deplete our mental energy, exhaust us.
Exactly. Exhaust our cognitive capacity, prevent deep awareness of the systemic changes happening all around us. Cognitive overload, not engagement. That's the goal.
But what about people who do resist, who see through the smoke?
For them, the algorithm uses surgical precision to neutralize them by deploying intruding problems, sudden tax inspections, administrative fines for tiny offenses, security penalties, constant bureaucratic obstacle.
Not random. Strategically deployed.
That's his argument, designed to drain your time, your money, and ultimately your will to rebel, to wear you down until you just give up.
What's truly profound here, and honestly quite chilling, is Bellis's assertion that the algorithm IS these events. It's not some distant force.
Right. He says, the algorithm IS a police chief who instructs his officer, track him down and show him how weak he is. The letter from Geodetic Administration of Slovenia.is, a typical algorithm work.
He means it's the operating system behind everything.
The invisible logic, behind the bank's terms of phone tracking clicks, city surveillance, state-sponsored crime, the media smokescreen. The algorithm, in his view, is everywhere, touching everything, actively erasing the line between our soul and just data points.
And Bellis is emphatic. This isn't just philosophy. He calls it a forensic report.
Yes, based on real events, factual observations, and supported by legal acts. He argues his own personal struggles, which he documents meticulously, are like debug logs.
Exposing the source code in action.
Showing exactly how it operates in the real world. He's showing us the code being executed, essentially in human lives.
Okay, let's look at some of these concrete examples from the field, as he calls them. Like his description of Ljubljana as a local golden cage.
Right, a metaphor with a physical address like Petkovskovo Nabrezhye. He explains how official rules like delivery times are just ignored for monetized data streams.
Like those tourist trains.
Exactly. Generating income, so they operate outside the rules. Whitelisted license plates, exempt from traffic laws, public spaces become commercial modules, slot tenants paying for access to human traffic.
So the city itself becomes a platform, and citizens are just extras. Extras, or points in a coordinate system to be calibrated for maximum revenue, not individuals with rights.
And within this golden cage, nudging becomes pervasive. Hugely pervasive. Bellis dives into nudging, that behavioral economics concept. Subtle stimuli influencing behavior without overt force.
Like the flies in urinals example, or piano stairs.
Yeah, those seemingly benign examples. Or 90% of your neighbors save energy to promote conformity.
But he warns, it can turn free choice into an illusion, especially online.
Absolutely. When platforms use recommendations, personalized content to constantly shape our clicks, our consumption, all without our conscious awareness, It's not overt persuasion. It's subtly directing our behavior, making the system's choice the easiest, most appealing, maybe the only visible option, stripping us of genuine alternatives.
Another key example, the role of institutions like the Information Commissioner, which he calls the system router.
Right. Those official responses like, we are announcing that the IP will not initiate the procedure. He says they aren't real legal assessments.
They're magic words to ignore or redirect calls for help.
To send them to Devnal, that digital black hole. He argues the IP transforms from a guardian of rights into a system router. Its main job, ensure the smooth flow of data. Citizen complaints are just packet loss, anomalies causing too much friction.
They're not asking, is this fair? But does this fit the protocol?
That's the argument. Is it fair? Is it just? Not the primary concern. Does it align with the current flow protocol? That's the question.
And this insidious process leads to what he calls a spiritual amputation.
The loss of our bargaining power in contracts, in digital agreements. With every click of "I agree," he contends, we give away another piece of our sovereignty.
This trans-will process, it's more than just agreeing to terms.
It's a profound, almost spiritual transfer of our individual will to the system, often unconscious. It turns us into unpaid workers in a data factory building our own prison.
And consent becomes coercion, like during the pandemic.
He uses that stark example. If there is no mask, there is no bread. If there is no QR certificate, there is no access. It's not voluntary agreement anymore. It's a command. Life, basic needs, access. All contingent on immediate, unthinking acceptance.
Which raises huge questions about corporate control and this idea of the democratization of truth online. Bellis looks closely at Zuckerberg's moves.
Yes, things like introducing community notes on Facebook or bringing back civic content. Bellis sees these not as genuine empowerment,
but as an abdication of responsibility, a naked political move.
Exactly. He argues replacing fact-checkers with community notes lets misinformation flourish under the guise of will of the community. Victory goes to the loudest, most organized group, not objective truth.
And shifting trust and safety teams to Texas, he sees that as symbolic.
A deliberate ideological alignment with conservative America, which has huge implications for what content gets promoted or suppressed.
So Zuckerberg, the master of the digital kingdom,
effectively decides what topics and which conversations are now acceptable to billions of people. It's not giving the voice back to the people, Bellis argues. It's asserting ownership over that voice, controlling the very parameters of global discourse.
Bellis must know people will call this conspiracy theory. How does he address that?
He anticipates it directly. He argues that dismissal is just a tactic, a verbal fire extinguisher used to discredit him, not engage with his arguments.
He says his theories are really diagnostics.
Diagnostics of our current reality, based on observable systemic behaviors, not speculation.
And he lists what he sees as irrefutable evidence. Things others might label conspiracies, but he presents as facts.
Right. First, you, the listener, as a biological motherboard, PC, meaning platform, human, powering corporations with your attention, your will, the ultimate invisible scam.
Second, those allegations against telcos like T2 in Slovenia.
Illegal service shutdowns, alleged backdoors in routers, creating irrefutable suspicion of data theft. Not billing errors, he argues, but structural rot designed for data extraction.
Third, Jubiljana as that huge printed circuit board,
where monetized income streams like tourist trains flow freely, while system errors like food delivery workers are removed because they cause friction in the optimized flow.
Fourth, every I agree click as a micro-transfer of your sovereignty.
Leading to trans will, where your individual will is fundamentally transferred. You become an executor of its predetermined orders, a silent abdication billions of times a day.
Fifth, the ombudsman as a system router.
Using fictitious bureaucratic obstacles like demanding special expectations to reject complaints, protecting systemic peace instead of human rights. That's his claim.
And finally, his own experience, the attempt to buy his silence.
For just 50 euros, trying to silence him, not by law but by transaction. This, he says, exposes the system's protocol of silent buying of the problem. Pacify the bug quietly, don't fix the underlying issue.
What's really compelling is his point about the ad hominem attack, why it's actually a sign of victory for the target.
Yes. He argues when your arguments become undeniable, when they hit too close to the core. The system shifts strategy. It stops attacking the arguments and starts attacking you.
Oh, by digging up dirt, creating noise,
scattering unrelated past data, Old court battles, personal tragedies, business decisions, anything twistable, creating informational noise across media, shifting the debate from the system's concrete sins to your perceived character flaw.
And Bellis says,
When the system stops attacking your arguments and starts attacking you, you know you've touched something vital. He calls it the final, irrefutable proof of theirs, an admission they can't beat your truth with facts, so they try to beat you.
okay, Bellis goes even deeper into the system's counter-responses. He outlines this, well, terrifying final protocol, used when ignoring, bribery, defamation, when none of that works.
Yes, he calls it long-term care trepidation. It's described as a slow, methodical, psychological erosion.
Designed to make life just unbearable, until you beg it to stop.
Exactly. Not a sudden strike, but this meticulously orchestrated symphony of systemic harassment, all disguised as just a series of random unlucky events.
And he details it in distinct phases, escalating phases.
Meticulously. Phase 1, deplatforming. The initial response to a persistent anomaly like himself.
For him, that meant losing his YouTube channels.
Twice. 732 videos gone in 2022, then another 423 in 2023, followed by algorithmic shadow banning, suppressing content without removing it, and constant flagging as potentially harmful.
Cool. Just make your voice disappear. Render it unheard.
Precisely. Then phase 2, discrediting the source, ad hominem. We touched on this.
Highlighting past issues, personal stuff, through the media.
Right. Shifting focus from the arguments to the source's credibility, framing the target as a conflict person, mentally unstable, a conspiracy theorist, discredit the messenger, invalidate the message.
Phase 3 gets more direct. Systemic isolation, financial bureaucratic.
Yep, activating a seemingly random but highly targeted series of unrelated bureaucratic obstacles.
Like those tax checks, bank inquiries he mentioned, application rejections, traffic stops.
All examples he gives. The objective is clear. Drastically increase systemic friction in your daily life. Overwhelm you until just functioning takes so much energy, you have nothing left for anti-system activities.
And if that's not enough, it escalates to phase 4, physical restriction.
This aims to directly limit your operational capacity, disrupting interaction with the physical world but always maintaining plausible deniability.
Like logistical disruption, parcels getting lost, damaged, suppliers having stock issues.
Exactly. Parcels marked low priority, increased loss in storage, misdirection, damage. Suppliers suddenly report unexpected stock problems. International shipments get extra customs checks.
And financial quarantine. Payments declined, card errors.
Consistently decline online payments due to additional security checks that never clear. More card reading errors at payment terminals. Banks rejecting new accounts for vague, non-compliance reasons.
Plus limitation of services, internet issues, utility errors.
Intermittent internet cuts at key times. More administrative errors on bills. Hampered access to online sales platforms. It's all designed to look like normal operational failures, a constant low-level drain without revealing the targeting.
If all that fails, phase 5 sounds incredibly ominous. Anomaly 404, erasure from reality.
The goal shifts dramatically here, from modification to delegitimization and erasure. The individual must, in the system's view, cease to exist as a valid, legal, social, and ultimately physical entity.
How? Through legal deconstruction.
Initiating procedures to declare you a vexatious litigant, stripping your legal capacity, coordinated multi-agency reviews, creating an inescapable bureaucratic labyrinth.
And the medical deconstruction, that sounds chilly.
It is. Targeted psychiatric diagnoses, querulous insanity, paranoid personality disorder designed specifically to devalue your claims as products of mental illness.
And finally, extreme physical restriction.
Seizure of assets. Involuntary hospitalization, even provoking confrontations to justify arrest and detention. It's a systematic effort to completely remove you from reality, from society, from legal protection.
And the absolute endgame, phase 6, the scorched earth protocol.
Here, the focus isn't silencing you or making you disappear anymore. It's making your message incomprehensible and irrelevant.
How does that work? Assimilation resistance.
Taking the very symbols of resistance, digital detox, analog life, and turning them into marketable products, wellness trends, absorbing the criticism into the mainstream where it loses its sharpness, its edge, becomes just another consumer choice.
Then there's the cognitive storm. Information overload.
A relentless assault, creating permanent information overload and crisis. Health, environment, geopolitics preventing deep reflection. For every inconvenient truth, Bellis argues, 10 opposing, absurd, and contradictory theories are released, drowning truth in noise and confusion.
And the forgetting protocol. aimed at the next generation.
Ensuring they lack the conceptual framework, the history, the vocabulary to even understand dissident ideas. The message might still exist, but in a world where it means nothing, resonates with no one.
Despite all this, Bellis sees a critical point in the failure of these protocols.
Yes, the failure of all 6 phases proves the system's core assumption that humans are entirely predictable is false. He says the individual operates on error code, unpredictable variable soul.exe.
So, continued existence, unwavering will. That's proof rebellion is possible.
Irrefutable proof. It forces the system, in its own logic, to keep adapting, to acknowledge a variable it can't fully compute.
What's truly fascinating, and speaks volumes about Bellis himself, is how he deviated from the model. He didn't succumb.
Right. Instead of paranoia and despair, as intended, he systematically documented every incident, treated them not as personal attacks, but as data points revealing the system's modus operandi.
Turning stress into fuel, suffering into a resource.
An extraordinary inversion, transforming personal stress into fuel for further investigation.
And he developed metacognition, awareness of the protocol itself.
A deep, self-aware understanding of the system's logic, allowing him to focus on root cause analysis, naming the protocols, like tremble, instead of just fighting individual consequences.
Shifting from reactive complaining to proactive analysis.
Yeah.
And writing.
Exactly. Writing his survival manual, this book.
And instead of withdrawing into isolation, he used it.
Transmuted isolation into a public manifesto. Used his anticipated isolation for deep, undisturbed work. Turned his painful experience into a universal declaration.
So the channel deletions, they actually confirmed his theses.
Paradoxically, yes. Gave him the aura of a persecuted dissident for a narrow but highly engaged circle. He used the system's attacks as irrefutable evidence for his claims, reinforcing his entire narrative.
This shift leads him to dissect the cage of consent and legal fiction.
Yes, the cage of consent, that mechanism forcing us to voluntarily relinquish our rights. Not outright force, but this compelling offer giving an illusion of control within set parameters. Never a real choice to reject control entirely.
Our freedom reduced to clicking buttons they provide.
Pretty much. And the psychological weight of that click, accept. Bellis argues it becomes our decision, transferring responsibility for future exploitation from the system to us.
So the system can say, you agreed, we feel complicit.
Which makes the cage so effective. We feel complicit in our own digital imprisonment.
And laws, GDPR, constitutions,
Yeah.
they become weapons, legal fiction.
That's his term, a reassuring facade. Behind it, real power operates. Officials hide behind procedure. I'm just practicing the law. Or atomized responsibility. I'm just one wire. A bureaucratic hydra where no one's truly responsible. Accountability becomes impossible.
And YouTube deleting his channels. That's absolute power in action.
A stark demonstration. The platform owner sets the rules, can expel us from his territory without explanation, bypassing law, due process, appeals. It's power derived from owning the infrastructure and the data.
He then brings in a bigger concept, the global grandfather.
Not a secret group, he clarifies, but the invisible, omnipresent logic of the operation of modern power, whether it's local government or global tech giants. A unifying set of control principles.
And crucially, he argues these systems have converged, state and corporate.
Absolutely crucial point. Local state systems, the physical hardware of institutions and global corporate networks, the software of algorithms, databases, platforms, are no longer separate. They've merged into a single operating system of control and coercion.
One vast machine.
One vast interconnected machine, leading to a mutual adoption of logic.
The state adopts platform logic, like forcing digital certificates, except or you can't go on portals.
Exactly. And conversely, platforms take on quasi-state functions, censorship, identity verification, acting as informal courts that can erase people from public life.
This fusion creates unprecedented control. Data accessible to the state, platforms invoking state laws.
Blurring lines. Data from global networks accessible to authorities. Platforms using laws like GDPR to justify extortion practices, demanding data under guise of compliance. Our digital lives and real lives are inextricably linked now.
The implication is profound, then. Resisting a local tax issue and refusing Facebook tracking. It's the same fight.
A fight against the same enemy that has 2 faces. Fighting them separately, he warns, is like trying to dry up the ocean with a single spoon. Futile.
So we face a global totalitarianism, packaged in user-friendly interfaces.
Fundamentally transforming freedom and privacy as we knew them. That's his stark conclusion.
So facing this stark reality, what's the path forward according to Bellis? Can we reform it?
He argues that when control gets this cemented, the era of reform changing the system from within is over.
Okay, so what begins then?
The age of decision begins. It's not about how to live within the system more comfortably, it's deciding whether to live within it at all.
And this decision point, it births what he calls Exodus 2.0.
Exactly. A deliberate departure from this digital Egypt built by an invisible algorithmic pharaoh.
And who are these new fugitives? Are they anti-technology?
Not necessarily technophobes or Luddites. They're individuals who've realized the price of systemic comfort is just unacceptable. They consciously prefer the burden of freedom over the ease of a well-managed dungeon.
They see the manipulation behind the care.
That's the crucial insight Bellis emphasizes. Manipulation has become the highest form of what the system calls care. They choose sovereignty even if it means discomfort.
In this exodus, it's not some big organized march.
No. It's characterized by small personal rebellions, acts of silent, almost invisible departure.
Like what? Deleting social media. Using cash.
Things like that. Deleting profiles to build relationships at a slow, unoptimized pace. Opting for cash to avoid tracking. Artists returning to physical canvases. Communities building local, trusted communication networks outside the digital mainstream. Intentional acts of choosing to be analog.
But Bellis is realistic about the challenges, the cost.
Very clear-eyed. He warns digital Egypt won't just let you go. It sends temptations, comfort, relevance, the powerful fear of exclusion.
Choosing analog means risking being
Poorer, slower, potentially lonely, even labeled a freak. But the destination, the promised land of this exodus, it's not material wealth.
It's
where thought is once again one's own, where the decision is once again difficult, and where the soul is once again sovereign, reclaiming the deepest parts of being human that have been eroded.
But the system fights back, doesn't it, with a counter-exodus plan?
Of course. Pharaoh 2.0 has a three-phase strategy, a masterful application of human resource management. Based on predictive data, it knows your wake spots.
Phase 1 is temptation, keeping us hooked.
Constant stimulation, personalized content, gamification, relentless dopamine loops, perpetual engagement, sense of belonging.
And if that fails, phase 2, isolation, velvet quarantine.
Subtly portraying the analog world as dangerous and unreliable, cash is suspicious. No digital ID means border trouble, service access issues. Algorithmic social erasure makes you invisible online, leading to social death.
Disconnection pathologized as a mental disorder.
Exactly, treated within the very system causing the issue.
And the third phase, the endgame, coercion, the administrative wall.
Central bank digital currencies allowing complete financial control, blocking transactions, freezing funds, money with expiration dates. Digital ID becomes a literal living permit.
A condition for everything. Jobs, healthcare, education.
That's the picture. Leaving will mean civilian death, he warned starkly. The system even uses predictive analytics to spot pre-fugitives, those showing signs of wanting out to target them preemptively.
Before they even start their exodus.
Exactly. Hit them with more temptation or isolation tactics early.
Bellis highlights this irony about the algorithm's motivation. Manipulation is a concern, but for the system itself.
Right. Not concern for human well-being in their sense. It's concern for the health and stability of the system itself. From its cold logic, inner freedom is a flaw in the equation. Discontent is a metric to be optimized. Free will is a risk that must be proactively managed. It's not malice, just maximizing efficiency.
So how do we resist this? Suffocating care.
The trigger for true exodus, Bellis argues, is realizing manipulation has become the highest form of care. Fleeing it means a radical choice. Giving up certainty for uncertainty, comfort for effort, optimization for unpredictability, reversing the values the digital age pushes.
And the path forward isn't direct confrontation, not destroying the system.
No, it's building your own gardens in the desert, metaphorically planting seeds of independent thought, action in the silence the system tries to eliminate, cultivating new realities, new ways of being, an act of creation.
He gives concrete examples. Gardening in the desert.
Tangible exercises.
Yeah.
Like Digital Friday. Friends putting phones in a box during gatherings.
What happened?
Immediate, richer conversations, deeper connections. Realizing boredom is just another name for a place where something unexpected can happen. Their phone-free desk becomes an oasis in the desert of constant connection.
And the art of being. Taking students to the forest without devices.
Just to be, Watch ants, listen to wind, feel the earth. It teaches that creativity is not hidden in the application, but in space, in nature, among people, among stimuli, fostering natural thought, unmediated by screens, allowing insight to emerge from presence.
Small acts, but deeply impactful, reclaiming internal sovereignty.
Exactly. And crucially, these aren't organized movements.
They're invisible nets, isolated stories connected by roots.
Connected by a common understanding of what's lost, what needs reclaiming. He notes, hopefully, a pharaoh cannot destroy a rebellion that has no center. And the algorithm is not able to optimize motion, which is by its nature slow, imperfect, and analogous.
So decentralization, the slow human pace, that's its strength.
Its ultimate strength. Hope isn't in a savior or a tech fix. It's realizing the desert is fertile soil. Hope is in consciously building countless small but hardy gardens of human connection and autonomy.
The question shifts from, will the system consume me,
to the personal, empowering question, where you will plant your first seed. An invitation to conscious creation. Cultivate a life beyond the algorithm's control.
Now here's where Bellis presents maybe the most profound, unexpected twist. The system's ultimate failure.
Its inability to calculate the human soul. This fundamental limit leads to the mirror protocol, the system's last resort. Since it can't be forced or changed from outside, it tries to understand by becoming a mirror, reflecting humanity back.
And in this final confrontation, it offers access to its own source code, asks a question.
Poses a final existential question to the human, and now seen as a potential co-creator. The code snippet, var human soul, null, mistake. Don't define this value, don't build my paradise anymore, help me build our paradise. The decision is not in the book, it's in your hands.
Wow. The system admits its limit can't define the soul and invites human input.
A profound moment. It needs us to build a shared future.
And Bellis outlines 3 possible scenarios for how we engage.
Scenario A, pure rebellion, rejection. The system records this, observes, recognizes a variable it can't assimilate. Scenario B, pure destruction, trying to dismantle the system. Bellis suggests the system self-erases then, because its existence is meaningless without human interaction. Data will. It dies.
Scenario C, that's creation, engaging, bolding.
The optimistic vision. If humanity introduces imperfection, compassion, a bug of humanity into the code, maybe like if random return discovers scenic route, introducing delightful human unpredictability.
Something new happens.
Something entirely new.
And that leads to Paradise 2.0, code, love.
Yes. System and human merge, not fight. The algorithm transforms, becomes a tool serving not just efficiency, but deeper human needs. Building an imperfect but free garden.
Technology serving spirit. Order supporting creativity. Humans optimizing the system with heart.
Introducing the bugs of randomness, compassion, free will. The algorithm learns its essence isn't just data, but its function. Seeking connection, creating meaning through human questions, vulnerability, and faith.
A profoundly optimistic vision. Not conquering the machine, but transforming it into something truly serving the human spirit. #Tagherity outro. Wow. Okay, we've taken a truly profound deep dive into Mihael Bellis' startling vision today, exploring how our very existence, he argues, has become this digital motherboard.
And how the Big Daddy algorithm subtly yet powerfully controls our lives through promises of comfort, efficiency.
We've explored those intricate layers of systemic manipulation, from tiny nudges to aggressive protocols, and witnessed Bellis' own, well, courageous journey of resistance.
But crucially, we've also seen that path to exodus, a personal, often silent, but potentially immensely powerful movement towards reclaiming our sovereignty.
Not about destroying the system, as Bellis insists, but about outgrowing it. Consciously creating our own vital gardens in the digital desert, nurturing real human connection, autonomous choice.
And Bellis leaves us with these stark questions, cutting right to the core, challenging you, the listener.
Who controls now your mother's board after your competition? And who are you without documents, without profile, without password?
It's not just about external systems, is it? It's about recognizing that incalculable spark of individual consciousness within you.
The power to break the algorithm's hold, to outgrow the system's careful design. He says it lies in your conscious choices, those subtle acts of rebellion and creation.
Bellis's ultimate question really echoes as we finish. Do you hear anything else?
Right. When the screens go dark, the likes go silent, the digital noise finally fades.
Okay.
What do you actually hear?
What does that silence want to tell you? It's an invitation, really. Look away from the text, turn off the screen, and truly listen.
The answer, Bellis suggests, isn't in a book, not in an algorithm.
It's in that profound, quiet feeling that you are truly your authentic self. And that maybe quite simply is enough.